Today, we're going to take a tour inside one of the most incredible factories on the entire planet, your own digestive system. We're here to figure out how it handles two very different kinds of raw materials, meat and vegetables. Have you ever noticed this? You eat a steak and you feel totally satisfied for hours, but then you have this giant, beautiful salad, and an hour later, you're already looking for a snack. It's a super common experience, right? And it's not because one is just better than the other. The real reason is that your body runs two completely different assembly lines for these foods. So the key isn't really the food itself. It's the machinery your body fires up to deal with it. Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to imagine your digestive system isn't just a bunch of organs, but this super high-tech food processing plant. So in our factory, the food you eat, that's the raw material. Your stomach, that's the heavy-duty grinder. The small intestine is the sorting belt, pulling out all the good stuff. Your enzymes are the specialized workers on the line, breaking things down. And then you've got the assistant crew, your gut bacteria, and trust me, these little guys are absolutely crucial to the whole operation. First up on the tour, let's see what happens when a shipment of vegetables arrives at the factory door. The whole plant has to switch over to a very specific mode of operation. The main raw materials coming from plants are fiber and complex carbs. They tend to move through the grinder, your stomach, pretty quickly and head right for that sorting belt. And this is where it gets a little weird. Our own bodies, our own enzyme workers, can't actually break down fiber. So if we can't digest it, why is everyone always telling us to eat more of it? What's the deal? Well, it's because that fiber, it isn't actually for you. It's food for your assistant crew, that huge community of good bacteria living down in your gut. You're basically feeding your microbiome. And this shows you just how important their job is. The fiber arrives pretty much untouched, and your bacteria get to work, fermenting it. This whole process creates these incredibly helpful compounds called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs. Now, your body can absorb these, and it uses them to nourish itself from the inside out. The payoff for feeding your little crew well is huge. We're talking less inflammation, healthier cells in your gut, more stable blood sugar, and a lower risk of heart disease. Oh, and it's also why a high-fiber diet keeps everything, let's say, moving along regularly. But what's the trade-off? This whole process is fast, which is exactly why you get hungry again sooner. Okay, now let's walk over to the other side of the factory. When a totally different kind of raw material shows up, we're talking meat. The entire system has to reconfigure for a completely different kind of job. See, unlike veggies, meat is all dense protein and fat, with pretty much zero fiber. You can think of it like a tightly packed block of Legos that's been super glued together. It's just a much tougher job for the factory. So to handle this, the stomach grinder has to release way stronger acid. Then, a highly specialized crew of enzyme workers get sent in to painstakingly snip that protein block apart into tiny, usable pieces called amino acids. This is a slow, really energy-intensive job. And that slow, intensive process is exactly why you feel full for so long. The factory is working hard for hours, steadily releasing energy and all the building blocks your muscles need. It's why a protein-rich meal is so good at crushing those snack cravings. So we've got these two different but super effective processing lines, right? One for fiber, one for protein. But the factory's efficiency isn't just about which line is being used. This is where the whole idea of quality control becomes critical. Any good factory manager will tell you the real issue isn't the raw material itself, but its quality. So here's the crucial point. This isn't about being team meat or team veggie. When it comes to the health risks we often hear about with meat, the evidence points overwhelmingly in one specific direction. Now, to get this, I just want you to look at this number. Let it sink in for a second. Over 1 million. What does that even represent? Well, it's the number of people involved in a huge landmark study that finally helps us understand the real risk here. Yep, that's how many people were in a major study that found the primary link to heart disease wasn't just meat, but specifically processed meats. We're talking about things like sausages, bacon, and deli meats. Turns out those can be fermented by bad bacteria in the gut, creating inflammatory compounds that can really damage your system. So, what's the big takeaway for us, the owners of these incredible factories? Well, the owner's manual doesn't call for extremes. Not at all. It calls for balance and for understanding how we're actually built to work. You know, from an evolutionary point of view, we are true omnivores.
Our ancestors ate plants when they could find them and meat when they could hunt it. And that dense protein from meat, it was absolutely crucial for developing the complex brains we have today. But the cool part is it also means we're super adaptable.
So for those of us running our factory exclusively on plants, that adaptability just requires a little modern wisdom. Vitamin B12, for example, is nearly impossible to get from plants, so supplementation is essential. Same goes for certain types of omega-3s. And that isn't a failure of the diet. It's just acknowledging that our modern food world is a bit different than our ancestors.
Now, if you want a fantastic real-world example of this, look at Okinawa. It's home to some of the longest living people on Earth, and their traditional diet isn't extreme at all. It's overwhelmingly plant-based, sure, but it includes fish and a little meat. But the real key? Look at that tiny sliver for processed meat. It's practically zero. You know, if you had to boil all of this down and explain it to a kid, it would actually be pretty simple. Veggies make your tummy healthy and your heart happy. Meat helps you feel full and be strong. And eating way too much of any one thing, well, that's just not good. In the end, your digestive system doesn't care what you call your diet. It doesn't care about labels. It only cares about one thing, the quality of the raw materials you send it. So the real question is, what kind of ingredients will you choose to send down the line today?